Yes, it is Moss Mayfair. Welcome back to MIG. This is just going to be a very quick walkthrough of our core MIG tools, what they do, and more importantly, how they use order flow to help read the market. I always say as long as you have a general understanding of order flow, of the asset that you're using, then you can integrate any strategy on top of that. So MIG is effectively a confirmation, a confluence, as is order flow, as opposed to a strategy or signal engine. Okay, so order flow shows you exactly what is happening underneath the move. It shows where aggressive buyers and sellers are hitting the market, where liquidity is resting, where large participants are absorbing pressure, and where real imbalance begins to develop. Not this bullshit I shit T fag gaps that other people are using, but this is the true foundation of that MIG framework. So Liquidity Edge, our main core model on a $50 subscription, or just under that in fact, is designed to map where the market is likely hunting liquidity. And I'll show you that here now. That will come up as that form right here. This is where we can see 80,000 buyers are coming in, 65,000 have aggregated here. And then obviously we have our graded system, which is completely separate. But every market needs liquidity to move size. That means price will often move towards obvious highs, obvious lows, session extremes, equal highs, equal lows, clustered stop areas, previous session highs, previous session lows. There's a completely different video on that for confluences. But Liquidity Edge helps frame those locations clearly. So instead of asking where is price going, the better question becomes where is liquidity sitting and what is price likely trying to reach? That is where we find contextual movements like this. Price bounces in, resting liquidity, and we use that trampoline effect. This gives that context before the move actually happens. Now, once price reaches liquidity, this is where our add-on, it's a one-off payment, one time, unlike our subscription model. This is the absorption flow. So if we were to put that onto the chart, this is our V2. For example, now price may push into a high or specifically this low with aggressive selling. At first glance, this looks very, very bearish. So you'd expect the possibility of, oh, we look like we've broken this low and now we're going to try to come back to this low. General market structure. So at first glance, it looks very bullish. But order flow then reveals something very, very different. You may see buyers now either continuing to hit this offer aggressively, whilst larger passive sellers then become absorbed. So that buying, so those buying pressure, so even though these sellers are now trying to break through this aggressive buying participation, which we can see live, what I like to do is make sure that my confirmed bars only is turned off so they print live. They do not repaint. This is where we can see that absorption, that huge, big iceberg effect there. So in simple terms, aggression is pushing and larger participants are trying to hold that. This often then becomes a very important signal because it shows the exhaustion, the trapped participants. Or, for example, in this, it shows this early participation. So even if you didn't want to try to take this as a limit, for example, if we were to go back, we've got two options. A really aggressive entry would state, okay, liquidity is sat here. I'll slap my limit here, and then I can try to ride this aggressively as it bounces, or instead, wait to see when the buyers start participating back into that area of liquidity. So we can see they start pushing here, and all we can wait for then is a nice little bullish flip to confirm that movement, and there it is, and then we can ride that like so. And this is where the two get involved. So you begin seeing where participants are trapped, where size is being defended, and where imbalance is beginning to shift. That is the purpose of the MIG tools, not to predict every move, but to give a clearer view of market structure, liquidity behavior, and real-time participation underneath price. Now, instead of having to go over to a Bookmaps or a Sierra Charts, Deep Charts, and learn a brand new software, a lot of traders are trading evals without using TradeEvade and just logging them into here. So what we've done is we've compiled the suite so that you can get that same institutional order flow data, but now we've managed to get it done between myself, over a decade worth of investment banking experience, and then 4 other analysts, which are on a disgusting pay packet, to get this polished to the version that is best for retail traders at home. So for access, if you aren't already in our Discord is below. Our live daily streams, all of our testimonials and profits are up there. We have over 500 users currently in as little as 8 weeks. 92% of them profiting when they use the correct model. And then all of the links for the actual store can be found below.